Insulin is considered an anti-aging hormone. What does that mean? And what can we do to increase our insulin levels so we can live longer? Insulin is one of the main hormones that regulates our blood sugars. So when we eat carbohydrates, those are broken down into sugar, and the job of insulin is to take that sugar from the blood into the cells. There was a study done in Finland looking at over 23,000 people, and they found that people with type 2 diabetes lived longer than non-diabetic controls. For example, people with diabetes have chronically high levels of sugar in their blood and chronically high levels of insulin in their blood, and we know that that leads to problems like kidney disease, cardiovascular disease, nerve damage, and more. You can download it by clicking the link below. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button. And don't forget to subscribe. This is your host. I'll see you next time. So what we want to do is we want to mimic the effects of insulin without having the chronically high blood sugar and the chronically high insulin. One way to do that would be to simply eat less carbohydrate, so we would lower our blood sugar and therefore our body would produce less insulin, and that would slow down the aging process. Unfortunately, people with diabetes typically don't do this. They typically go for the exact opposite approach, where they eat more carbohydrate in the form of fruit juice and regular juice and things like that, and they do an exercise because they are tired and fatigued because they have high blood sugars. So overall, it's not the best plan. Another study done in Sweden looked at over 450,000 people over the course of 6 years, and again, they found that people with type 2 diabetes lived longer than non-diabetic controls. So then we can take the same amount of insulin in our blood and move more sugar into the cells, and therefore have the same amount of sugar in the blood. So that means that we can keep our blood sugar normal while still getting the benefits of insulin. So the way to live longer is to eat less carbs and exercise more. Sorry guys, no secret there. Now of course these people did die eventually, but it's important to remember that all of us will die from something, and it might as well be from something like cardiovascular disease, which is pretty common in diabetics, or it could be from cancer, which is also pretty common in diabetics, or it could be from something else like a stroke or a heart attack, which again, are all pretty common in diabetics. The point is we've all gonna die from something, so why not try to die from something that's fairly common rather than something that's rare, and we might be able to delay the rare things by using insulin. When the cells take up the sugar, they become charged up with energy, and we get this beautiful feeling of well-being, and people sometimes call it the insulin release or the runner's high that you get after a good run. That's what we're going to talk about in today's episode of the Habits Pharmacy podcast. I make weekly videos giving you practical health tips so you can make better use of your body and feel healthier and more energetic. But insulin does a lot more than just moving sugar into the cells. It also helps to build proteins and other components of cells so that the cells can replicate and divide and therefore help us grow. For example, if we were to take insulin and inject it into a petri dish full of skin cells, the cells would start to divide and replicate faster because of the growth-promoting effects of insulin. So insulin promotes growth in general, and anything that promotes growth usually slows down aging. In fact, studies have found that people who have diabetes and therefore higher insulin levels tend to live longer than people who don't have diabetes. Now unfortunately, the way that we currently use insulin for people with diabetes is not really the best way to use it for anti-aging purposes. The other thing that we can do is we can exercise, because exercise makes our cells more sensitive to insulin. If you'd like some more information on how to live longer, I've got a free anti-aging guide available.